Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Global Domination. I'm excited today because we've got a commercial broker with us out of the New England area. Ron, welcome to the show today. Thank you for coming on board. I think it's been, a year and 3 months that you've had your license?
Correct.
All
Yeah.
right, tell us about that. What were you doing before real estate? Because you've had some amazing corporate careers. You've built all kinds of relationships, and then you decide to get into real estate.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you for inviting me onto the show today. I appreciate that. Joining Global Domination. Yeah. So my career has been very versatile. I've been a business owner. I've started 4 different businesses throughout my career. I've been in the corporate environment. I've had a lot of experience, not necessarily in my territory that I live. I've actually sold all over the U.S. So I've been able to establish a lot of really good contacts from California to Maine. So that's been pretty unique.
And I love that because, you've had restaurant experience, you've worked in technologies that have driven, restaurant operations and so forth. And so when you decided to get your real estate license, it was so important for you to be able to, one, go into the right brokerage, but two, be able to utilize those past contacts that you had spent years building in other spaces and turn them into actual clients for your new real estate opportunities. So let's talk about that for a second because, real estate is so local. Everybody, we do global domination. I love having the global outlook because really, when people ask me, what is your farming territory as it relates to real estate? I always answer the globe because that's true. You came into real estate the opposite of what most real estate professionals do. They think they've got to land a zip code. They've got to specialize in a neighborhood. They've got to focus on their town or their city. You came into it with, wait a minute, I've built these relationships all over the globe. How can I now join the right brokerage so that I can service these individuals just in a different space, in a different time? So let's talk about that for a second, because you obviously had to interview brokerages. And what was it that you were, finding with those brokerages? Talk about split, talk about territory. What were they?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. It's a good story. So in 2018, I started a company where we were working with restaurants around the U.S. and we were helping restaurants either sell their businesses or add to their portfolio. And a lot of those restaurant opportunities involved real estate. At which time I didn't have my commercial real estate license. So I interviewed a lot of different brokerages and I found where I was kind of stuck here in my territory. And then I was introduced to EXP and I found where EXP's brokerage, there's no boundaries, right? There's no territory. I'm open to work within the US and in other countries, which is really, really unique. So that was a real driving force into the attraction to EXP because a lot of my business is outside the territory that I live in. The other was really when we talk about commission splits and overall compensation. As a new commercial agent, obviously I didn't have a lot of history in that space, and nobody's paying me anything when I'm working day to day. I've got to drive my own income. So what was interesting about that is every brokerage I spoke with, they were taking so much away from me when and if I closed a deal, and it was really disappointing. EXP was a completely different commission split where in an 80-20 environment, it was much more lucrative. And then when an agent caps, suddenly you're at 100%.
Yeah.
And I didn't find that with any other brokerage that I spoke to locally.
That's right. And that's what I find too. I have conversations all the time with other, commercial agents and brokers, and some of them have been in the business 25, 30 years, and they're still sitting at a 60-40 split or, and I'm like, why? Why do you want 40% of your money to go to a brokerage where at EXP, Once we pay in 20K, we're 100%. We keep 100% of our money that we can reinvest back into the business, do less deals if we want to do less deals, or if the climate says that we're going to do less deals, right? Because economy, everything that we read in the headlines, speak to that. But also the fact that, you're not really getting, the opportunity to expand outside that territory. And I think for you, you started into the restaurant space and you're doing that all over the globe, but you've also been able to take on those opportunities of industrial warehouse leasing. You're doing a build to suit, real estate, commercial real estate deal. You've got retail shopping center opportunities. You've got ground lease opportunities. You haven't had to pick a lane, of what you want your niche to be and get, rid of what other opportunities are out there. I was having a conversation with some Marcus and Millichap guys the other day, and they said, well, I can't represent anything but multifamily. And I said, what do
Right.
you can't represent anything but multifamily? What do you mean? Having been in the business now over a year, imagine if your brokerage said, no, Ron, we're going to take 50% of your money. Oh, no, Ron, you can't go lease that industrial warehouse. That's got to go to the senior warehouse industrial guy in the office.
Yeah, it's really interesting because when it comes to interviewing other brokerages, when I started to peel back the onion, whether it was a 60/40 or 70/30 split, there were other fees associated. A lot of times there's desk fees and communication fees and the whole bit, advertising fees that you don't really know until you get into the brokerage, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden you start to see your income be depleted. But to your last point, you know, I I have a lot of different contacts in a lot of different industries, and I would not be as successful as I am now if I had to pick a lane and just concentrate on that. As you mentioned, I have warehouses for lease. I have vacant lots for lease or for sale that are able to be developed on. I have buildings for sale. I have businesses for sale. So it's really allowed me to diversify my marketing efforts. And when I'm out there networking or I'm working with other agents, it really opens up a lot more opportunity than if I had to choose a lane and I kind of have the blinders on and only able to work in one segment of the industry.
That's right. Yeah. And it's shocking that a lot of the commercial brokerages are still operating in that way, even with the shift in the economy, right? Who wants to be the senior office rep guy in any office right now, right?
Absolutely. Right. Exactly.
So let's talk about that because you've had some, look, most of the time people get into commercial real estate, it's 3 years before they're making any money whatsoever. And you've been, obviously we all want to make more money, but you've had closings. I think your first closing was out of Texas with like an $8 million 3-unit triple net Burger King deal that took place.
It was, again, if I was stuck just in my own territory, I do more business outside of my territory from where I live and have done business before than I do internally. So it's really unique. We've had Texas opportunities, Arkansas, Michigan, New
Jersey.
Jersey. Don't forget about our New Jersey opportunity where
Yeah.
it was 26 locations we were able to close,
Yeah.
which was a great opportunity. But those types of opportunities, if I was with another brokerage, I would never be able to be involved. Or if I was, the compensation would be so little that you even wonder if it's worth doing the deal or just handing it off to someone else.
That's right. That's absolutely right. You've had a lot of opportunity as well too, because I want to speak to the commercial brokers that have been in the business, obviously, because we know how to help them, make more money. But also, I want to speak to the new people that think, okay, real estate's always been something I wanted to get into, but I certainly don't want to talk about carpet and wallpaper, which you didn't either, right? You're the business minded, you're a numbers guy. You love looking at that bottom line and showing how your clients how they can net the most money possible. For you, you've had access to training, you've had access to learn the things that you needed being with EXP.
Yeah, it's really important. I always tell agents who ask me, why did you join EXP? I'm like, you got to ask questions and just really understand the business because EXP is very different, and they're creating a whole nother type of brokerage that we haven't seen before, with license portability, being able to, sell in different areas, being able to talk to other agents in other states that you wouldn't normally be able to do, work with. So that's been really a benefit. But when it comes to training, there's just so much at the fingertips of EXP from a training perspective, whether it's your local resources with your broker, whether it's the resources that are available to you in EXP world, an online virtual world that just gives you a plethora of information and direction, or whether it's online learning that you can do at your own pace, or get involved with online classes that EXP holds. There's so much at your fingertips that a small little brokerage here and where I'm from would never be able to offer those types of resources.
That's right. And you've done a great job too at networking. You've mentioned this with other realtors, that are in the residential space. I don't know the exact particulars, but you've received quite a few referrals just networking with other residential agents.
Yeah, one of my fortes throughout my career has been networking. I feel that you're only successful as your network.
Yeah.
And the network for me now comes full circle, where I'm able to go back to a lot of those people I networked with before in other industries or uh, careers that I was in, and be able to reach out to them. And I've gotten so many leads through my network, but also being able to network with residential agents where I'm able to help them with a client that they may have sold their home, or help them buy a home, and that client happens to have a business or a commercial property that they're looking to either sell or they're looking to invest in, and I'm able to help them and be able to provide them a referral fee as well, where their efforts are compensated for. So that's a big win-win situation.
Well, and you've done a good job, locally and nationally, speaking to residential agents, because while they're fighting over who's going to land the next listing because inventory is still so low and what's going on in their world, there is a way for them to generate revenue while they're waiting for the next house listing to come along or the next buyer to say, I'm ready to buy. And, you've done a great job at educating them. Hey, here's an opportunity. So many of your clients that have worked with in the past do have businesses to sell or do have commercial real estate endeavors they want to see. Here's an opportunity for you to speak it to them, and I'll pay you for it, and you've done a really good job of that.
There's been several residential agents that have really experienced tough times during this housing market, residential housing market. So what I've done is I've reached out to a lot of them and I've said, listen, when you're driving down the road and you see a building that's vacant or you see a open lot, take a photo of it, pin the address, send it to me. And I said, if I can create an opportunity on this, I'm more than willing to pay you a referral fee for it.
I love
So
it.
now I got these residential agents that are sending me, I can't be everywhere, right? And so
Right.
I've got residential agents from around the country that I've been able to network with, that will send me a vacant lot or send me a vacant building, take a photo of it, send me the address, and say, hey, not sure if this is something we can work with, but let me know. And then I do my research on my end with the platforms that EXP provides me
Yeah.
with. And every now and then we get lucky and we get a listing out of it. And then it's a great win in the end for both the residential agent that brought me in and for myself. I would have never gotten that listing had I not had more feet on the street.
Absolutely. No, that's genius. I love that you're doing that. And it's true. Why not create an army of salespeople when they're, looking for something to do and a way to generate revenue? So, Ron, I always tell people, there's no script for these conversations. Everybody always says, well, what are you going to ask? What are we going to talk about? And I'm like, we're just going to naturally flow. So I'm going to throw one in there that we obviously, you're going to go, what? Why? So in commercial real estate, typically, the signage and the guys and the, gals, we don't put our pictures on signs. And here you are in the Northeast, you've got listings all over, off expressways, off major interstates, roads, highways, on the way to the beach. and every one of your signs has the photo on it. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
So, so I've always been known to be a bit of a disruptor. So when I was first getting into my first listing, I said, I'm going to do things differently. I looked at every commercial company out there, brokerage, and all their signs were very stale. It was just the brokerage name, the phone number, and lot for
Boring,
sale or
boring.
lot, very boring. So I said, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to put a little twist on it. I'm new, so I need people to know that I'm in the industry, that I'm in commercial real estate. A lot of people will identify me by face because of some of the other businesses I've owned locally. And so I threw my mug up on a sign on a very busy highway. My first listing, my phone number, and the fact that the building was for sale. And I cannot tell you how many people have reached out to me to comment on that, or I see you every day when I go to work. And it's created net new listings for me as well. And it's created people reaching out to me to say, hey, by the way, I need to sell this, or I'm looking to buy this. So that's really helped. And then recently, I got this huge billboard on 95 on the side of a building that I put that same type of sign with my face up there. So I've got hundreds of thousands of people seeing my mug every day on the highway, and it's just generating net new opportunities for me.
I love it. No, and I love that about you, Ron, because I've had people on, and there's a handful of commercial folks that have done things the disrupting way in the industry, right? And everybody's like, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing that, and they're always whispering behind their backs. But I loved it. I think it's classic because you are grabbing the attention. It's perfect. And when you're recognizable, why not put it out there? Because when people see you, like those people reached out and called you and said, hey, I see you every day going to work. I mean, it's genius. I think it's
Yeah,
awesome. You can't really
absolutely.
stop doing it. And I think we're going to have to get more commercial agents. We're going to have to get like your buddies, Sam and Matt's pictures on.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. That idea came from when I was 25. I started my first business, and the first thing that I bought was a billboard on 95. Cost me $5,000 my first month in business. And the reason I put that up there is to give the perception that we had been around a longer period of time.
Yeah.
And what I thought is by putting my mug on my signs, it would not only bring awareness, but it would show people that I'm in the industry, I'm a professional, and I can assist them with their commercial needs. So it's actually really benefited.
I love it. It's great. I mean, it is. More people need to do it and not so worry about the status quo.
Yeah,
Oh, you don't
exactly.
do that in. How many guys told you, oh, Ron, you don't do that in commercial real estate?
Absolutely. Well, look at EXP is not the status quo either, right?
That's right.
EXP is disrupting the industry of what we know, what we knew of real estate.
Let's
And
I mean, and it is, and we have been, it's comparing the Blockbuster to the Netflix. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about, Rhode Island and New England, Massachusetts, Connecticut. You've got 3 licenses now, right?
correct, I'm licensed in Rhode Island where I live, Massachusetts, and Connecticut.
Okay, perfect. And that's all, they're all within moments of one another, very, very small states up there. But let's talk about you know, the real estate market that's happening up there. I mean, everything's still hot. Is things slowing down? Do you know what's going on?
Sure. So, like everywhere, the housing market has really taken a hit over the last, year and a half, 2 years. Commercial market is a little slow, but I'm not one to wait for people to call me because they saw my sign or some of my, past clients that were sold a property or were looking for a property. I try to uncover every stone. So anytime I get a lead that comes in on a property that I have, I contact every lead. I really truly try to find out what their needs are, and a lot of times most of these leads are not represented by an agent. So now I've just found a lead that came in for a property that I have, and now I'm representing them, just doing some discovery. If they're not currently being assisted by another agent, I'm finding out what their needs are, and now I'm helping them find a piece of property. So I try to uncover every stone. Every vacant building, I find ways through our platforms that we have available to our access, who owns it. I either send a letter, an email if I have their email address, or call them on the phone and ask. There's been people in the area that have commented on your property and are interested in some investment properties. Are you interested in potentially in selling? And that's really helped out too. So that's created a lot of new opportunities. But it's not waiting there for listings to come my way. Between networking, working with other agents, residential agents, not only locally but outside of New England, and then efforts that leads that come in, just doing discovery and trying to find out if I can assist them as well.
No, I like it. You got to beat the pavement. You dial for dollars and you beat the pavement. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's the oldest form of how to grow a business, and it's the one that still works today.
Sure.
And putting your face on the sign. I love it.
And yeah, absolutely. Although one of my signs got some graffiti on it, so you always got to be careful of that.
Always got, yeah. You want to keep all your pearly whites in there, and
Exactly.
not have summer teeth, right?
Right. Exactly.
So what do you think, when you look at New England and you look at the agent base and, you think of, okay, maybe they're at an antiquated real estate firm, or, they've never checked out EXP, or why haven't they looked at EXP? What is something that you have to say to them?
Yeah. So there's a lot of agents that just don't adopt change, right? They're just afraid of change. And I find that a lot of agents just simply aren't happy with their current brokerage, but they don't always want to own up to it. And so the more and more conversations I have with agents and explain how different and how disruptive, right, EXP is in the industry in a positive sense, it really starts to open some eyes. And, in New England, it really is a whiteboard up here as far as there are EXP agents up here, but certainly EXP has not been as penetrated in the New England area. So there's a lot of opportunity up here for EXP to gain new agents, which is great, and get away from that old school type of brokerage with the old school type of compensation, and get on board with something that's new in the industry, and a company that's just had absolutely incredible growth over the last 10 years or plus.
And on top of your phenomenal compensation plan that you got as a brand new agent, right? I mean, a brand new agent, not even knowing if you were going to make a dollar, but you got the 80-20 split, 20K cap on residential. It's an 80-20 split. Once that 20% equals 16,000, you're 100%. Going into it, everybody gets that same deal. But also, you closed your first deal, you earned stock. You're a shareholder of a multi-billion-dollar publicly traded company, which goes right into what you've always done. You've always been an entrepreneur, starting and owning your own businesses. Here you go again. You go into real estate and you now own part of a multi-billion-dollar real estate brokerage.
Yeah. So the three other businesses that I had, I didn't have that luxury, right? They were my business, and didn't have the luxury of stocks. But so funny that you said that, because just a couple of weeks ago, I got another statement in, and I was like, look at this. This is amazing. You know what I mean? So it really is. It's a surprise, because I am running my own business, right? I don't answer to anybody. I'm still doing things on my own, but it's great to know that when I hit certain thresholds in EXP, that I'm owning a part of the business, and I'm sharing in the stock of EXP, and that is incredible, right? You tell me a brokerage that that offers that locally. I mean, it just doesn't happen.
Well, tell me a brokerage where an agent a year and 3 months into their career, and they're already a shareholder of a multi-billion-dollar publicly traded company, right? They're not even a shareholder of a no worth value company.
Right,
I mean,
right.
no one just gives away pieces of their company as we do what we intended to do, which was sell real estate and businesses and so forth. So, that's what's mind boggling. And, we think as salespeople, I got into real estate right out of college. It's all I've done. And, but I've been an entrepreneur and I've worked for myself. That was important to me, not to be on somebody else's payroll. And most real estate agents go into this industry with that same concept. They want to set their own destiny. They want to be in charge of their own livelihood, and they want to make sure that they're building and doing what it is that they do. And that's why they remain an independent contractor. It just really, really, really doesn't make sense to me why they wouldn't want to earn ownership in a company at the same time and have the ability to share in all of its revenue. I mean, that's what blows my mind. EXP gave back $243 million in revenue to the agents last year. And we all have that same opportunity. I mean, it is so important. If it was $1,000 extra a month, $5,000 extra a month, 100,000 extra a month. I mean, just why wouldn't you? If you're gonna build a real estate career, why not build it this way where you have all these opportunities instead of just one way?
Why not make the financial opportunity for yourself versus the broker that you work with,
Yeah,
right? And I encourage agents out there that, just reach out, ask questions, learn more, because you'll be so surprised and motivated to really look at making a change because of the
yes.
compensation, license portability, being able to work with, what are we at, 90,000 agents now, across the globe. I mean, that is amazing that we're all one big family sharing in the profitability of EXP.
That's right. Well, Ron, this is why I wanted you on. You're you're a baller. You know that. And I love that it's been just over a year that you've had your real estate license. Agents entering into this industry can be successful. Ron chose commercial real estate and he is successful. So, I mean, think about that. You went and tackled the hardest things to sell in the entire United States and you're actually getting them closed.
Absolutely.
Well, it is awesome. But listen, if anybody's out there watching it, if Ron's inspired you, whatever the case might be, if you just have questions, reach out to Ron, have a conversation. Who better to hear it from than somebody that's brand new into this industry, but is actually making money, is now an owner of a brokerage, doesn't have the overhead, doesn't have the liability, but just gets to share in the wealth of it. So thanks, Ron, for being on. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Stephanie. Have a great day.